Okay, and we're recording. Okay, I'm really excited about today. I love using the last 2 weeks of the year to kind of restart, refocus. I feel like it's the one time in our business where there's not a lot of orders coming in because most people are done shopping. Doesn't mean that you won't hear from customers or downline, but a lot of times we all kind of slow down. And so this is the time that I use to reevaluate what I'm doing. If I want to put new systems in place, if I want to make 11 billion samples without being arrested, it's like the best time to do it. And I have found 2 other ladies that also love to do this. So I'm really excited to hear. They've given me a little snippet of what they like to do, but I'm really excited to go more in depth. Raise your hand, nod your head yes if you love like figuring out systems and refocusing. So a few of you. If you don't, thumbs down. You're like, I hate it. I hate New Year's resolutions. They're not fun. I actually don't like New Year's resolutions. I feel like it just sets me up to fail. So I just do a word that I'll kind of focus on instead of big giant goals, that I don't get overwhelmed and then feel like I failed like 2 weeks into the year. Oh, Karen's coming in hot twice. 1 minute. Who's got all their Christmas shopping in? Nope. All I have to do is buy a few gift cards and then I am done. I love spreadsheets. Like I've had a deep relationship with them for a long time. And so I keep track of all of my shopping on spreadsheets and I start as soon as the sales start. And luckily they started so early this year. I'm done extra early. So that way when I'm stuck up at the school for 8 hours every day this week, it's not a big deal. Okay. We are at 1:35, so we'll go and get started. All right, so Fefe.
Yes.
If you'll come on and just give us a quick snippet about you.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Fefe Fitzgerald, and I'm from Plainview, Texas. I just promoted to superstar director in May. So that was very exciting. That was kind of right when that hypergrowth just hit. We didn't know. I'm not even sure if I knew when I hit SSD because I was just dying to the end of that month. I remember because I had 2 frontline hit that month, which was pretty dang awesome. But anyway, I digress. It's been a great year. I've been doing Scentsy for about since 2015, so however long that is, it's about 6 years. I'm married, have a 14-year-old son, and I love doing Scentsy. I love it.
Love it. Love it. Okay, Amber. She is driving, doing her mama pickup, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am. Yes, I too committed without triple checking my calendar. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm driving during that time. I promise I'm being safe, guys. My name is Amber Turner. I joined in 2011 for a hobby. Little did I know God had other plans. I was an elementary teacher, so I did both jobs, Scentsy and teaching. I taught for 12 years. 6 of those were while building my business. This is my 4th year of Scentsy full time, and I also promoted to superstar director in May. Fefe and I were accountability partners and phone texting buddies during that time with all of the updates. It was super fun. But one of my biggest whys is what I'm doing right now. I have 2 daughters. My oldest is a competitive gymnast, and she gets out of school early every day for gymnastics, and that's where I am right now, literally sitting in her school parking lot, waiting on her to walk out those doors. That's me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, while I have you, if it's not, unless you want me to wait till she gets in the car.
No, you're fine. I already told her mommy's probably going to be talking to her phone when you get in the car this afternoon. It's fine. She's used to it.
Okay, so what are you going to focus on at the end of this year?
So I'm really excited for tomorrow to come and go, to be completely honest. I've already had my Christmas shipping cut off. I always back mine up a few days early. Just FYI, that way you're not possibly receiving packages on Christmas Eve, but I'm going to, coach my group through tomorrow. And then I'm really excited to just step back from all of the things that I normally do in my business, partying, hosting, having orders come through my house, deliveries and all of that, and just step back and just think for a minute. What works in my business? What doesn't work in my business? What drives me into the ground? What can I do a little bit more efficiently? And what are some things that I've always really wanted to do and needed to do, especially now that I have the title of SSD, that I have 2 weeks to kind of wrap my brain around and get it going before January 1 hits.
Okay, perfect. All right, Fefe, your turn. What are you going to focus on?
Well, I'm kind of focusing on the same things, just really weeding out what's worked for me and what's not. And I think being in this for 6 years, not that that's an eternity, but it's long enough to kind of gain a lot of wisdom of what was working and what wasn't. Something I've learned during this pandemic is it almost essentially sped up our businesses about a year or so, if you think about it. And so anything that was working during this hyper growth or not working was magnified. And that's something that I realized in my personal life also. Personal life, business, everything. Things that I was kind of I don't know if I should be doing that or not. It just magnified during the hyper growth. And I was yeah, definitely cutting that out. The things that I was doing right magnified during the hyper growth, which ended in, my promotion and my team coming through in a lot of different ways. And so my word for 2021 is focus. So I'm going to be just weeding out everything that didn't work, staying focused on the things that get me consistently growing PRV, consistently recruiting 2+ people a month, consistently having active frontline promotions, and the systems that allowed me to have great customer service. And that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. What's going to streamline that process and continue to have my business grow in those ways is what I'm focused on.
Okay, so I'm guessing that those things are systems that you've set up.
Yes.
Okay, so what systems are you reevaluating? I love that you're I figured out things that worked both personal and business, and things that were working and were not.
Well, I have my actual monthly checklist and things that I do, but there were some things that were kind of repetitive that I didn't really need. So for example, I have I have my checklist, and then I have another form that I do before just to kind of brainstorm, how am I going to get PRV? How am I going to get recruits or whatnot? Just on a few of these forms, I found that I was already writing my PRV for the month before. And so mine was more little things I don't need to write it on my monthly personal checklist and on my daily tracker and on my annual sales awards, what my PRV was. And so there was a lot of repetitiveness going on that I kind of weeded out and said, I don't need that form. Does that form help me get to one of those 4 areas that I described before? And if it does, am I already tracking it somewhere? Do I need to track that? I even made my daily tracking, a new daily tracking log for me that just covered, I think the one Cincy has is every day, all 30 days of the month. That just wasn't working for me. What was important for me was what I have on the 1st, 10th, 15th, 20th, and the end of month. So that's what I made my daily tracking log to reflect. That way I know, because again, that was another place I was writing my PRV every day. Well, I'm writing my PRV for the month on my annual sales tracker. And I was also writing it on another place. And so those are just some of the systems besides my daily tracking log, my monthly checklist, and my monthly leadership form, which I'll do a YouTube video, hopefully sometime this week, and then kind of share it with the Scentsy world of exactly what my forms are. But that's really in a nutshell what I do.
I love it. I love that you figured out where you were wasting your time writing things over and over. Sometimes we just, oh, it's a thing that we do and we just keep doing it. Or even saying that the Scentsy system that came out where you have to write it every day, like that's not working for me. I don't really need that information. And so you made it your own. All right. So Amber, same question. I know you love systems. So what systems are you reevaluating?
Okay, so I have decided to let my Scent of the Month club go. I think us being forced to get the bricks in our kit was actually a blessing because, you know, I had so many Scent of the Month club members. Not everyone could get a bar because now I was only getting 3, blah, blah, blah. And so like I fought it for a long time, just letting them choose, you know, you can get another bar for the same price as you got, you know, your Scent of the Month club, or you can wait until the first when I can order a bar. I just decided to scratch it completely. I stepped back and realized, number one, the reason why I started my Scent of the Month club was to guarantee I could sell those bars because I didn't want to have the overhead of my business. And I started that years ago. I don't need that anymore. It's something that takes time. It's something that takes energy. I told my Scent of the Month club people, and I promised to still spoil them. I was super nervous to tell them. Are you good? Claire's in the car, but she will not be on the video. She hates videos. My youngest loves them. They were fine with it. Like I was super nervous to tell them, I'm not going to spoil you a Scent of the Month club anymore. They were like, we don't care. So that was fine. I'm letting that go, and just not having that as something to do every single month is a huge blessing. So I'm letting that go. I've also streamlined my group and team Happy Mail. I think I saw Hannah Hall is on here. Thank you, Hannah. I'm the one that Shellie was messaging you about. Oh my gosh, that sun is so bright. Asking you for your colored Happy Mail ideas. I've already been to the Dollar Tree and bought pink stuff for January, and I'm so excited to get that going. This hypergrowth and my promotion at SSD blindsided me, and I was doing way too much for all the people that I cannot keep up. So I have scaled back. I'm starting top 10 team because I've realized I'm kind of like losing touch with my team now that the group is so big. So Hannah, I'm taking your colored Happy Mail gift ideas and running with it for the top 10 in my team. I'm really excited to do that. And then the third thing is I am focusing hardcore on Scentsy Club. I love to party. I will always party. Bag parties are my jam. Facebook parties are my new jam. Since COVID made everything go virtual, I finally learned it. I mean, I always did them. I just couldn't really rock them. But I'm throwing Scentsy Club into the mix with everything else because that's guaranteed PRV. That's residual PRV. So I'm working hard on building my Scentsy Club following, spoiling them with Happy Mail as well. And all the things that I'm doing, I'm just starting systems where I can do it in bulk and not have to think about it that much, not have all of that guesswork that's so like mentally and emotionally draining to the point of I just won't do it. Those are my three big things for 2021. Oh, I lied. I have one more thing. I'm also starting Google Sites. So I really wanted a one-stop training resource for my group that wasn't on Facebook. So I have a techie director, and I asked her, like, what would be a good platform, not YouTube. Like, I want a place where I can put documents, Amazon links to videos, YouTube, whatever. I need all the things in one place, and she directed me to Google Sites. So I've been working hard on that, getting that ready for 2021 for my group.
Well, that's exciting. I've never heard of Google Sites, and I love me some Google. So I'm going to look into that. I love how you touched on the mail. That has been a hot topic for me, and the SSDs that have helped with PowerFull this headquarters where you got this awesome link and you're on this call. We Zoom a lot, or we'll just chat and we talk about what are the things that we want to reevaluate with PowerFull within our own businesses. And mail has been a huge hot topic, and how all of us want to streamline what we're doing, because sometimes it's a lot. Like, I know for me, like, I love that, like, Hannah loves to send out this fun mail and Amber does, but for me, I'm like, it's overwhelming to even like, oh, okay, even though it's like a full color, like I was doing themes like llamas or cactuses, but then to remember every single month that I needed to like gather stuff became overwhelming. So do what,
Yes.
Amber?
So I was going to say, when I came home from that retreat and showed my husband is like my biggest supporter, of course, as they should be. When I showed him Hannah's pictures, he said, okay, so do that for the whole year. He was like, pick 12 colors and make them for the whole year. Like, he was 100% on board. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let me do 1 month and just see how it goes. But y'all, I spent $4 on enough for 10 gifts, and I've already designed the card on Avery and everything, and I'm real excited. So my plan is I'm going to do it for this 1 month, see how it goes, and if it goes well, like if it doesn't burden me, if the shipping cost is not crazy, which it should be $2.99 through Pirate Ship, and my team responds well to it, I'm going to pick 11 colors and I'm going to mass produce those bad boys and just be ready to slap a label on them. That's what I need in my life.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, first of all, I don't even know if I know 11 colors. I'm on that end of the spectrum, but
We will repeat.
I batch my Happy Mail, and that's also what I'm doing for 2021. I'm doing batch samples, batching everything because I'm starting school in January, and I serve a lot within our church. So that in and of itself is a full-time job, plus Cincy, plus school, plus mom and wifing. And so I literally went to the post office and bought a bunch of postcard stamps, and I'm literally just going to do my top team and top group postcards and my Cincy smell mail. I call it smell mail, but it's the postcards with the 3 little spots to put a scratch and sniff. I am stickering all those with my address label and a postcard stamp, and I'm gonna do that for at least the next 6 months. And that's just something I'm gonna do. I even have a form where I can batch sample. I can share that too, where I've literally written down all the samples I want to make. I'm going to batch sample my Cincy Club packs that I send. If someone wants their Cincy Clubs taken out, I send them Happy Mail, online mail, and VIP local orders all get a really nice sample pack. And so that's all something I'm going to do within the next 3 weeks. By the end of January, I'll just have my office full of all of these things. So that way I can just literally wake up, do my checklist, and move on to the next thing for the day. And I'm not going to be tied down by any of that. I'm not going to have to worry about Happy Mail, because that's the hardest part about Happy Mail, is coming in every single month, thinking about what you got to do, trying to remember to order bubble envelopes. And then you got to know where to send, or if you even have the finances to send for a $4 piece of Happy Mail to 50 people. That stuff is stressful. And so I'm knocking it all out before the beginning of the new catalog. And my life has already just felt like a million pounds are lifted.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, just knowing what I'm going to do. I'm about to go through a low area, y'all. Sorry, it only lasts a minute. Knowing what I'm going to do, knowing how I'm going to do it, what the budget's going to be, and just mass producing as much of it as I can at one time frees me so much, because I feel like hypergrowth was the biggest blessing, obviously, but I just feel like I'm pushed down by all of this. Like, I don't have much creative mind space left, because I'm just over here trying to keep my head above water. I know I've got to get to a place where I can do whatever I can to free myself of time and to get my creative mind space back.
Oh my goodness. I'm so glad y'all shared that. Because I know many of us feel bogged down by certain systems that we're doing. And we don't want to stop doing them, but we kind of need a new perspective on how to do them more effectively. And batching them, I mean, I used to get so overwhelmed when I'd be like, okay, I have to do my top 10 and I have to do this and I have to do this and I have to do that. But when you have it all ready to go, it's like no big deal. It'll take me an hour to get it all done instead of like days later, it's still not done. So I love that. Okay, so we have a few minutes left. We've talked about what didn't work and how you're fixing it. Now I want to talk about what did you find that did work? So Fefe, you go first because you had mentioned that.
Okay, well, the things that did work for me was having an actual schedule for my life. I'm not the type that can operate off of knowing exactly what I'm going to do all day, every day, at every time of the day. And so I created my checklist to essentially reflect a busy or a not so busy lifestyle. And so I'm not that type that tells everyone they got to do it my way. But what I do suggest when it comes to doing a schedule, first of all, you got to have one. You have to have one. And then you also have to create room for a pandemic to hit or the crazy to hit. My brother was in the ICU, almost died from COVID. My mom had a heart attack. I'm over here in this hyper growth, people just popping out of nowhere, wanting to do something with their business that wasn't before. And so things are just getting crazy. We're super blessed, but with that comes a lot of responsibility. And so my checklist is even down to, it's even color coordinated. I'm not as organized as people think I am. Everyone, you're so organized. That's why I hear everyone tell me all the time. I'm like, no, I'm not really. I just want to be able to function, not go crazy. And so a lot of these things I have are my own DNA, like my monthly checklist. You see how it's different colors. The orange is my team and group tasks. Purple is personal. Green is money, income producing activities. And I have one red, which is pay bills. And that's like super urgent. And then blue is important, but not urgent. And I know that sounds really tedious and kind of like a surgical approach, but again, this took me a while. And so that's something that's worked for me, is every single month, year, I kind of just evaluate, is something like this working for me? And it's kind of over a few years, just kind of came down to colors, just because, again, if a pandemic hits, I know what on this list is urgent that I have to do that's going to make me money, and what else I can drop that doesn't have to. So there's that. And planning ahead, like we were talking, planning ahead all the things that I can. So not only am I doing half email and samples ahead of time, I'm also on the weekly, just scheduling posts on my team page on the weekly. That obviously you don't know what's going to drop last minute that you're going to have to post about. But if I know every Wednesday is a Wednesday, and every Wednesday I post about it being a Wax Wednesday, then I'm going to go ahead and make that post. If I know I'm always going to make an end of month post, like everyone drop your emojis, I'm going to go ahead and make that post. We have we call it the table. I do ours with Lindsay Conan and her group, our monthly group Zooms. And so that's something that we're going to schedule our Zoom links out for the rest of the entire year. We're going to schedule our Facebook events out, because on Facebook, if you do it from your computer, it'll automatically invite your entire group. That way you don't have to go through and manually do it like you do on the phone. But that's something I'm gonna go ahead and schedule out for the rest of the year. And of course, things may change. We may have something crazy on a Monday or whatnot. We'll change it last minute, but that's something we'll know with an ample enough amount of time that we can switch it. But those things have freed me up so well. And it was kind of a trial and error thing in 2020, but 2021, we're in the hindsight is 2020, and going into 21, literally hindsight was 2020. So I get to take all that wisdom and just pile more on, like, okay, what else can I front load my year with? And so really, I don't do anything extravagant. My happy mail isn't crazy. But what I have held on to is having a schedule, allowing some room for error, showing myself some grace, and scheduling whatever I can ahead of time, whether it's the week ahead or the month ahead, or in my case, the year ahead. And a lot of things that I'm doing, that's what's been working for me.
I love that. And the biggest thing is grace. So you've put all these systems into place and you've learned what works. But if you run up against something, you're like, it's not working. You give yourself grace and you reevaluate it. And I know 2020 has been hard. I mean, I learned the best phrase. It was like, you're a dumpster fire of a woman. And I don't know why it cracked me up, but I was like, this has been a dumpster fire of a year. It's, in so many ways that dumpster fire took out all of the things that, maybe we didn't need anymore, and helped us reevaluate things that are working, things that aren't, and gave us the time to figure that out. So I love that. And obviously grace. I just love, we all need more grace.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Amber. Yeah. Especially with ourselves. All right, Miss Amber, what did you find has worked or is working?
Okay, so I am incredibly type A, and I'm a very visual person. So I'm like Fefe with the happy planner. She and I talk about our happy planners a lot, but honestly, I don't use the calendar pages at all in my happy planner. I more use it to keep all of my lists for the month. So like my scent box orders, my pre-orders, my bring back my bar people, like most of that is PRB. So I can, follow up for Scentsy Club and keep my scent boxes going and all that kind of thing. But I also put in there my daily tracking and my first of the month checklist for working with my director's frontline team and group. My biggest thing, and this is something that I've had for years, and it is my lifeline, and my daughter sitting right here beside me probably knows exactly what I'm about to say, and that is my ginormous dry erase wall calendar. Like I said, I was an elementary teacher for 12 years, so maybe that's where it comes from. I'm not sure. We always had the calendar with all the things on it. So I put my entire month on that calendar when the month changes over. At the very, very top, I track my numbers because I'm always in competition with no one but myself to beat my year-over-year numbers. So we're in December 2020. I write my December 2019 PRV, TWV, GWV, active frontline, personally enrolled consultants, commission, team size, group size. I think that's everything. But I have those places, so I just plug them in. Excuse me. Then I start plugging in what I'm going to do every day. So every Sunday, I know I'm going to post Smelly Sunday. Every Monday, I'm also, again, I taught elementary for 12 years, so I'm a big play on words kind of girl. So Monday is Make It Happen Monday. I know I've got to have my business lined up as far as my parties go, and I also place an order every Monday. Tuesday is TV Tuesday. I've started posting just some kind of shout out to just my team because, again, I told y'all that's a burden of mine is losing my team in the midst of the group. They love that. I'll do like top PRV, of course, without numbers now. We all know that. Active frontline, top sponsors, whatever, but it's a team focus. Wednesday is Wax Wednesday, a post about changing my wax. And Wahoo Wednesday, I always go live to my group on Wednesday nights with shout outs and a little bit of training. Thursdays, I leave blank on my calendar because I kind of need a day to just catch up. And then Friday, of course, is follow up Friday. It's when I catch up on my follow up. And when I send an email to all of my customers with a personal special I can't post and or just the LTO that's going to drop on Monday because that's kind of become our new rhythm. So that keeps my weeks organized. And then I have things that I do on the 8th, 15th, and 22nd. I send out an email to the top 50 in my group and I just let them know, hey, right now we're at 581 in my group. So I am a baby SSD, but that's okay. We're growing. Out of 581 consultants, you're in the top 50. You're amazing, blah, blah, blah. I also have on there when I start taking my scent box orders, when I close my scent box orders. I post group page the last week of the month, and it just kind of does our top 10 PRV, top sponsors, all that kind of thing. It's kind of like a countdown towards the end of the month. But all the things I do, blah, 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 long story short, all the things I do are on that wall calendar in my face. And then, of course, I just add to it anything else I need to do. But those are givens every single month. And it honestly keeps me so very, very on track. Because when life gets crazy, like my family, my entire household tested positive for COVID at the beginning of November. And I actually got pretty sick. I was down for about 3 days. Well, at least I I might not have known what day it was, but once I could figure it out, I could go to my calendar and see what I needed to do to keep my butt on track. And it saves me. It really does. It takes out of my business.
I love it. I too am a huge happy planner advocate. And I want to thank Amber and Fefe so much for sharing. If you ever are, I call myself a recovering procrastinator. I used to procrastinate big time. I would look, in your mind, you're like, oh yeah, I can push that off until Friday. I've got nothing going on this week. And then guess what always happens? Either A, you forget that you have something going on, or B, something always comes up. And then at the last minute, you're flipping out and stressed out. And then for me, I would take it out on my husband and my kids and would not appreciate life. And so years ago, I started adding in the happy planner and adding in more systems that work for me. So I always say, figure out what systems. So you heard all these awesome systems today that these ladies use. You probably see them all the time on the What Did You Share page, on different trainings. And if you feel overwhelmed, you're like, oh my gosh, I learned all this stuff and I should start implementing, just pick one. Pick one and then become an expert at it for 6 months. Maybe you catch on faster, or you drop something else in your life, like you quit being PTA president, so you have all of this time on your hands, so you can add in more. But I always gave myself 6 months to become really consistent and good at something, and then I would add in one more thing. So take some of these systems, some of these ideas, and go, what is the one thing that's most important? Do I need to focus on more team mail? Is my team really great, but my customer reach out isn't that great? What do I want to focus on and become really good at it? And then add in more. Keep some type of schedule. Some people like those. Some people are all online. Some are paper, and I'm one of those that's both. So I have everything on my Google Calendar, but then my to-do list, I write out on my happy planner what I have going on. So that way I know the days that I have open to work. It keeps me from procrastinating because I can see at a glance, oh girl, you cannot procrastinate because you're busy. Or this gingerbread store thing is coming up, and if something happens, you're the fallback. So you need to get all of your stuff done the week before. That way it's a lot less, it's not as easy to procrastinate. And then continue to add in those systems and tweak them. If they're not working for you, and instead of you just want to give up and be like, this happy mail is not working, so I'm just never going to do happy mail again. Instead, tweak it and figure out, what do you like? Just because Fefe's doing hers this way and Amber's doing hers that way doesn't mean that yours has to be exactly like either one of theirs. Your team most likely doesn't know what someone else is receiving or doing. So just do you. But I hope that these tips and ideas help you take these last 2 weeks, continue pushing for that really awesome incentive trip to Disney or Colorado. So keep pushing, but also take that time to reevaluate and refocus on your business. And just a huge round of applause again. Thank you, Amber and Fefe. Any last words?
Can I say one more thing on systems right quick? One
Yeah.
piece of wisdom that I've learned on systems, and that I like to tell my team and my leaders, systems are what sustains you on your worst day. So you have to kind of put yourself and think of all the things that may have transpired this year, especially during this pandemic. And like Amber said, if you're sick and you don't even feel like doing anything, if all you can do is muster up just physically going and look at your whiteboard, or if you do not want to take one more breath than what is humanly possible to stay alive and maintain a heartbeat, these systems are what comes in. For me, because I'm lazy naturally, that's most of my days. I don't want to bat one more piece of eye than what I have to. And so, because I have other things going on, I need something to babysit me. I need something to be my assistant. And for me, that's my planner. That's my checklist. That's my systems I have in place that I can say, I don't want to do crap today, but I'm gonna flap that planner open and be like, Oh, yes, you are. And here's a whole list of things. So think of it that way. Think of the systems that you can create that are literally going to, for lack of better terms, babysit you and maintain you on your worst day, and start there.
Yes, that's so good. Amber?
Yeah, I was just going to add in my systems save my butt. I've already said that, but they're also so simple and like they work for me so well that my group knows that I have them and they ask me for them. So they're like, okay, teach me your system on scent boxes. And I'm like, okay, step 1, here we go. Hold on, I need to tell her bye real quick. Bye. Bye. Have an awesome practice. Love you. Sorry, y'all. This is my life. Yeah, and so they're simple, they're duplicatable, they're replicatable, and they're something that I can teach them. And then as I'm promoting directors, they're like, okay, how the heck do you do Happy Meal? How do you do shout outs? I'm like, okay, here's my system. Are you ready? Step 1, here we go. And they just follow me step by step and it works.
Such great words of wisdom, both of you. And with that, again, thank you all for being on. Oh, I didn't even look at the chat. I totally forgot about that. Okay, no questions, just thank you, Google Slides, all that awesome stuff. All right, we will, I will be posting the replay later on today. I'm still up at the school for a couple more hours, so I will probably get to it this evening. And then you can share with all of your people and rewatch it as many times as you want. So hope y'all have a wonderful week and we will see you later.